You suffer not because you're weak, not because you're wrong, but because you're kind. And kindness in a world built on dominance, deception, and self-preservation is seen as an invitation to be used, to be walked on, to be forgotten. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He watched good men get devoured by the very people they protected. He watched kings fall not from war, but from mercy. If you are kind before you are strong, if you are gentle before you are feared, you will suffer, and your suffering will not earn you respect, only silence. In the brutal world Machiavelli lived in, kindness wasn't virtue, it was currency, but not the kind you spend, the kind others spend against you. He didn't admire saints. He studied survivors, and the pattern he saw was clear. The more a person tried to be good, the more they were disrespected, overlooked, or betrayed. Here's the part no one tells. People don't admire goodness unless it comes from power. People don't respect empathy unless it's controlled by fear. People don't follow kindness unless it's used sparingly, like a weapon. Your kindness, if it is endless, is cheap. And in Machiavelli's world, anything cheap was disposable. From verdant birth you were taught, be nice, be generous, be forgiving. But what they never taught you was this: every act of kindness is a signal, and in a predatory world, signals are interpreted one way, as weakness. You gave people time they didn't deserve. You gave chances to people who already proved they didn't respect you. You softened your words, quieted your needs, dimmed your power, hoping the world would respond with love. It didn't. It responded with indifference, because niceness without strategy is submission, and that is exactly why you suffer. Machiavelli warned us. The world rewards appearances, not intentions. You can be a saint inside, but if you don't appear powerful, people will never treat you with dignity. Goodness is invisible unless wrapped in fear. But here's the brutal twist. The more you try to prove you're good, the more they test you. The more you forgive, the more they betray you. The more you give, the more they expect. It's not evil, it's nature. People exploit what's available, what's unguarded, what's soft. You think they'll change, they won't. They'll only stop when they see you're no longer willing to suffer for their comfort. The reason you're losing is because you're playing by rules that no longer exist. You're showing loyalty to the disloyal. You're giving value to the ungrateful. You're offering peace to people who only understand control. This is what Machiavelli understood better than anyone. In politics, in power, in life, there is no reward for kindness without leverage. There is no respect for mercy without strength. There is no gratitude without fear. He wasn't heartless. He was clear-eyed. He saw that in order to do peace, good, you must first be in a position where your goodness has weight, and weight comes from presence, boundaries, and fear. Look around. Who suffers the most in families, friendships, companies, empires? It's never the cruel. It's never the cold. It's always the one who cares too much and expects too little in return. The soft are sacrificed first, not because they're wrong, but because they're easy. They're easy to manipulate, easy to blame, easy to walk away from. And when they finally break, no one's there, because kindness, once it's expected, is never appreciated. So what do? You don't stop being kind, but you stop being kind first. You stop being kind automatically. You stop being kind without evaluation. Kindness from now on must be earned. It must be measured. It must be used tactically, not habitually. This is the way of those who rise, the Machiavellian way. To be respected, you must first become difficult to access. To be valued, you must first become rare. You must become the one who gives only when it matters, only when it's deserved, only when it leaves them thinking, why did he choose to be kind to me and not them? That's how kindness becomes power. There is a truth, Machiavelli, never sugar-coated. You are only as kind as the world allows you to be. In a tyrannic world ruled by dominance and optics, kindness that isn't backed by strength becomes a liability. It makes you predictable. It makes you dependent on quinto, others' approval. And worst of all, it makes you blind to the fact that nobody respects what they don't fear losing. Your value diminishes with every unreciprocated gesture. Every yes you whisper when your soul screams no. Every time you bite your tongue to avoid discomfort. What you think is generosity, they see as desperation. Machiavelli didn't promote evil. He promoted timing. If you must strike, strike once, hard, clean, because in his eyes, a single calculated act of cruelty is more ethical than 1,000 quiet acts of tolerance that lead to chaos. The kind man, constantly forgiving, constantly sacrificing, ends up inflicting more long-term damage to himself and those he loves than the one who enforces clear boundaries with a single act of force. You avoid confrontation, but confrontation doesn't avoid you. It builds behind your silence, behind your smile, behind your fake. It's okay until one day it erupts, and when it does, the people around you don't understand because you trained them to think you'd always accept it. Humans are wired to test limits. They test your silence. They test your tolerance. They test your kindness, not to understand it, but to see if there's a consequence. If there isn't one, the testing becomes habit and your suffering becomes their routine. You become the one they vent to, but never listen to. The one they expect things from, but never ask if you're okay. The one who gives without being remembered. And worst of all, you become resentful. But Machiavelli knew resentment is just power, unrealized. You know what happens to the kind who finally snap? They either explode or disappear. They ghost everyone, burn bridges, destroy everything they once nurtured. Not because they were evil, but because they allowed everyone else's needs to replace their own for far too long. Kind people don't stay kind. They just break in, silence while everyone asks, what happened to them? They used to be so nice. No one ever asks what they went through to stop being nice. Machiavelli wouldn't blame you for becoming cold. He'd blame you for not becoming too strategic. Here's the secret. The world does not reject kindness. The world rejects unarmed kindness. The most powerful form of kindness is one that comes from someone who is capable of cruelty, but chooses not to use it. Yet, that's when people pause. That's when people notice. That's when people ask themselves, what does he gain from it being kind to me? What would it cost me to betray him? Kindness backed by power, is unnerving. It creates mystery. It makes people tread carefully because they don't know what's behind your smile. That is Machiavellian kindness. Strategic, controlled, rare. There's a reason kings sat on thrones, elevated, distant, untouchable. Because what? Accessibility kills authority. And the kind are often the most accessible. You reply first. You forgive first. You offer help first. You show up first. And then you wonder why no one values your presence. It's not because they're blind. It's because you've removed all friction. Machiavelli would say, if you want to be valued, you must first become inconvenient to disrespect. You must teach people that access to you is not a right, it's a privilege, and that privilege comes with cost. Not all kindness is good. Some of it is just cowardice in disguise. You don't want to say no. You don't want to make them uncomfortable. You don't want to look selfish. So instead, you harm yourself. Quietly, over and over again, you burn out for others. You keep peace at the expense of your own sanity. You pretend everything's fine when inside you're exhausted, bitter, unseen. And here's the Machiavellian truth. Every act of kindness that isn't conscious is a form of self-betrayal. You give more than you should to people who didn't ask for it, to people who expect it, and then you resent them for not appreciating you. But they didn't force you. You volunteered. And in Machiavelli's world, volunteers are exploited first. Machiavelli never said, "Don't be kind." He said, "Control it. Kindness should be like currency spent only when there's due a return, or when it strengthens your position." Here's how the powerful do it. They give when it creates loyalty. They show mercy when it solidifies fear. They support others when it expands their influence. But when kindness becomes a pattern, a personality, a compulsion, it loses all its leverage. That's the shift you need. Kindness should never be your default. It should be your strategy. Because kindness without timing is just emotional exposure. You ever notice this? You're kind to someone. You go out of your way. You think you've done something good, something memorable. But the next day, they don't treat you any different. In fact, maybe they seem colder, more entitled, and suddenly they expect more. Why? Because you broke the first rule of power. What is freely given is never truly valued. And if you keep giving it, it's not just undervalued, it's abused. People take that from you not because they're evil, but because you trained them to. You taught them your time doesn't cost. You showed them your energy has no boundaries. You proved to them that their inconsistency will always be met with your consistency. And now they're addicted, not to your kindness, but to your absence of standards. The world doesn't respond to effort. It responds to scarcity. You can be kind, brilliant, giving, and wise. But if you're always available, you're background noise. Now, think of someone you respect deeply. Is it because they were nice, or because they were powerful and rare? Machiavelli knew the more rare you are, the more value your presence holds. And the rarer your kindness, the more powerful it becomes. So the next time you feel guilty for not replying, for saying no, for putting yourself first, remember, gold is valuable, not because it's shiny, but because it's rare, and the kind who are respected. They make their kindness rare. There's a version of you that only exists to be liked, that says yes out of fear, that smiles through the betrayal, that keeps showing up, hoping this time they'll see your worth. That our version of you has to die. You weren't born to be nice. You were born to be free. And freedom doesn't come from it being liked. It comes from being respected. Machiavelli would say, stop aiming to be remembered as good. Aim to be remembered as undeniable. That means becoming someone who doesn't explain their boundaries, someone who doesn't flinch when rejected, someone who doesn't negotiate with guilt. That's the turning point from victim to weapon. Here's the paradox. The moment you stop bending for everyone, the moment you start saying no, the moment you become unavailable, they start watching you closer. They start questioning themselves. They start chasing what they once took for granted. Because respect doesn't come from how kind you are. It comes from how little you need approval. You teach people how to treat you, not with your words, not with your posts, but with what you allow. And once you stop allowing everything, your kindness becomes a signal of power, not desperation. There is a brutal irony Machiavelli understood better than most. The less you speak, the more they listen. In a world addicted to noise, where people overshare to feel seen, where approval is begged for in comment sections, where vulnerability is confused with performative weakness, the one who holds silence becomes magnetic. People assume he must know something I don't. He doesn't need attention, that's power. He's not trying to be liked. He must already have value. This is why the kind are often overlooked. They give their truth too freely. They explain themselves. They overshare to prove they're harmless. But Machiavelli would tell you, never show them your whole soul. The moment you do, you become predictable. And the predictable are always the first to be ignored or manipulated. Silence isn't absence. Silence is precision. It's how you create space for fear, build mystique, shift the power dynamic. When you stop rushing to respond, people wait longer. They get anxious. They replay their words because silence forces them to face themselves. And in that space, you become larger. That's why silence is feared. It reflects strength, not uncertainty. The loudest person in the room is rarely the one in control. The Greene, one who waits to speak, who watches everything but reveals nothing. That is the strategist. That is the Machiavellian. There's another truth, Machiavelli would whisper in your ear. Even the sun becomes ordinary if it never sets. Your kindness is not being ignored because it lacks quality. It's being ignored because it's too available. You show up when they don't. Show up for you. You text first. You initiate. You reach out again and again. And so they expect it. They devalue it. They consume your effort without thought, but disappear even briefly. And everything shifts. Suddenly your name holds weight. Your silence raises questions. Your absence becomes a statement louder than any words. This is the art of tactical withdrawal, not vanishing to be missed, but withdrawing to restore your gravity. Machiavelli didn't believe love made rulers safe. He believed the fear of loss was more reliable. People don't stay loyal out of affection. They stay loyal out of calculated fear. Fear of losing access, protection, status, or power. And that's where most kind people fail. They try to keep others close through warmth, forgiveness, and love. But the truth, people don't change when you love them harder. They change when they fear they might lose you. That's not cruelty, that's clarity. Stop trying to convince people to see your value. Start becoming the kind of presence that hurts to lose. Absence is not passive. It is one of the most active tools in the strategist's arsenal. It creates space for resource, reflection, forces recalibration of your gaudy value, turns your presence into an event, not an expectation. Think of every person who hurt you and got used to your forgiveness. Now imagine if you had gone silent instead. No explanation, no closure, just distance. Machiavelli would applaud you, because in silence you shift the burden of interpretation onto them. You become a mystery they can't solve, and humans are wired to chase what they don't understand. Here's the paradox you must accept. Your kindness should be wrapped in barbed wire, beautiful to behold, painful to misuse, because only then will people approach you with reverence, not entitlement. Kindness without boundaries invites parasites. Kindness surrounded by strength creates kings. Machiavelli's greatest insight wasn't that cruelty works. It was that kindness only works when backed by the capacity to destroy. Let them see your generosity. Let them feel your warmth. But let them never forget that beneath it all is a man who can walk away and never look back. You are suffering because you're still trying to be who they used to like. The more version of you that said yes to everything. The one who never demanded clarity. The one who kept giving even after being ignored. But that version, he's dead. He had to die because he was killing you. Machiavelli would say, to rise, a man must become new in the eyes of others, even if he was once noble. And that's your next move. You don't explain the shift. You embody it. Let the world wonder what happened to him. Why is he colder? Why doesn't he need me anymore? You don't answer those questions. You let your new silence speak louder than your old kindness ever did. Every relationship, every interaction, every conversation is a battle of frames. Will your needs lead, or theirs? Will you be the one reacting, or setting the pace? Will you beg to be seen, or force them to watch in silence? Kind people often lose not because they're wrong, but because they allow their emotional frame to be dictated by others. They react, they over-explain, they try to win love instead of command, respect. But Machiavelli's students don't react. They observe, they don't chase, they reposition. And when the frame is fully yours, you can be kind again. Because now it's coming from control, not submission. Most people don't realize they've been emotionally enslaved their whole life, pleasing others to feel safe, sacrificing to be seen as good, staying silent to avoid judgment, forgiving to avoid abandonment. Machiavelli's world was brutal, but it was honest. He didn't waste time trying to be liked. He spent his time understanding how power works, how humans behave when no one is, watching how even kindness is used as leverage, not virtue. And that's your transformation. You stop being someone who reacts. You start being someone who chooses. You choose when to give. You choose when to detach. You choose when to disappear. And most importantly, you choose yourself every time. In the Machiavellian playbook, your reputation is one of your most powerful weapons. Not your actions, not your words, your perceived essence. You were once the nice guy, the soft one, the understanding one, the one they assumed would always be there. But now you must become someone they speak about differently. Don't mess with him. He doesn't give second chances. He used to care more. Now he walks away like, nothing. He helped me once and never again. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. When your name begins to carry weight, you don't need to prove anything. The room adjusts to your presence because your absence has already done the talking. Every time you let it slide, every time you reply with kindness after being disrespected, every time you show up despite being ignored, you teach them, this is what I accept, this is what I deserve, and this is how I want to be treated. Machiavelli would laugh at the idea of waiting for people to realize your worth. He'd say, make it costly to disrespect you. Your time, priceless, your energy protected, your kindness reserved for the deserving. Because once people know you have standards, they'll either rise to meet them or flee from the pressure. Either way, you win. Let's be clear, your kindness is not the enemy. Your lack of boundaries was. You were not too nice. You were untrained in how power works. You were raised to believe kindness wins. But in Machiavelli's world, the one we still live in, kindness only wins. When it's protected by discipline, silence, scarcity, and presence. So no, don't stop being kind. But stop being kind to be liked. Stop being kind by default. Stop being kind without strategy. The strongest kindness is not soft. It's unshakable. It's kind and still walks away. It's kind and still enforces consequences. It's kind and still makes them wonder who they're dealing with. This is where you arrive. The version of yourself that no longer gives out of guilt, but gives from choice. The kind of man whose warmth means something because it's no longer a reflex, It's no longer an addiction. It's no longer a survival strategy. Your kindness now has edge. It's deliberate. It's rare. It makes people question their own worth when you offer it. This is how kindness becomes power. When it's reserved, when it's strategic, when it makes people ask, what did I do to deserve this? And how do I make sure I never lose it? Machiavelli would tell you, use your kindness not as a message, but as a test. See how they respond to your boundaries. See if they value what they don't get easily. See if they elevate or extract. Because now your kindness is a threshold. Only those who earn it get to experience it. And once they lose it, they remember it forever. You no longer punish people for not appreciating you. You simply remove yourself quietly, strategically, and never look back. That's not cruelty. That's selection. The final level isn't to be feared. It's not even to be loved. It's to become an environment. When people are around you, they act better. They think sharper. They hesitate before lying. They speak with respect, not because you demand it, but because your presence makes disrespect feel unnatural. You don't need to assert dominance. You are dominance. You don't raise your voice. You raise your standards. You don't chase loyalty. Loyalty stabilizes around. You like gravity. There will be people who remember you as too kind, and later they'll remember you as gone. They'll replay the times you gave, the silence that followed, the moment they realized you weren't coming back, and they'll change, but not for you, for the next person who reminds them of you. Machiavelli understood the deepest truth of human nature. People only value what they can no longer reach, so let your absence teach what your words never could. This entire journey wasn't about killing your kindness. It was about killing your cowardice. That part of you that said yes out of fear, that stayed silent to avoid rejection, that gave without checking the cost, that forgave because it was easier than confronting. That man is gone. In his place stands someone who still loves but does so from power, not weakness, who still gives but only when it reinforces his kingdom, who still shows mercy but never forgets the sword beneath the robe. You are not cruel. You are not cold. You are not heartless. You are simply done suffering for being kind in the wrong direction. From now on, your kindness will be your strategy. Your silence will be your sword. Your presence will be your empire. Let them wonder how you became untouchable. Let them fear losing your grace. Let them know deep down your kindness is a blessing and a warning.